Hello, everyone.
Hello, indeed.
Welcome back.
Welcome episode.
What number episode are we up to?
61, I think. Something, yeah. It says on the title, so I hope I checked the right numbers when I created the episode last week. So episode 61, everyone. Again from home. So, yes. So I think we can actually put this overlay. Here we go. I forgot about this. Our students from home.
Hello, Tony. Tony's with us.
Evening, Tony. So welcome, everyone. So quite a few people live. So I guess everyone is locked up at home still in Melbourne and Sydney and I don't know, Queensland. I'm not sure. Really. So let us know where you're writing from or watching from. Please feel free to ask any questions. We'll be going through a few things tonight.
Join in and say hello.
Yes, absolutely.
Noel, welcome, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Very good. So, well, where do we start? Should we start from the car of the week?
Yeah, we should do.
Yeah,
The car of the week. Yeah.
Let me put this one here. All right. Here we go.
All right.
Ooh.
So what do we need to know from car of the week? So we need to know the brand, the model, and the color, yeah?
And the color.
And the color.
All right. So this is it.
I don't even know what to say, but I think it might be red.
Well, not sure about that. Let's have a look. It's got a special red in any case.
Open for discussion.
Open for discussion. It's a Fiat.
It
Well,
could be blue with lots of red in it.
actually,
So they're
potentially,
saying it's Italian.
yeah,
Technically, it is a Fiat, isn't it?
I think. Well, I guess so. Is it also a Chrysler then?
Yes.
So cool. So what do we have tonight? We've got a few Gundams. We have some RC stuff. Is that Brett Box making it come? It's going to wait for next week.
No, Brett's boxes are exploding.
Oh,
I could barely
cool stuff.
some of them are quite stretched. I could barely fit all I needed to be in Brett's box. They're stuffed boxes tonight.
Good.
stuff.
All right. That,
Stuffed boxes.
we're going to talk
How's
about a
the
new
cat?
competition.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
cat
the
seems
competition is exciting. Well, we've got a competition that's running at the moment, which I think is just finished up at 5 o'clock today. And that was the railway layout photo competition. So it looks like we've got 7 entries. So basically, our competitions work by creating a prize pool by the number of entries. So the more people that enter, the higher the prize pool. So every entry generally adds $5 to the prize pool. We've got 7 entries, so that means there's a prize pool of $35. So Tony thinks your exploding boxes sound nasty. But with the competition, I'm thinking I'll keep it open until the end of tonight. Let's try and get some more entries in because all it needs is 2 photos. Okay, so you need 1 photo of your layout so that it looks realistic. And you'll see some examples that are really up there. And then 1 more photo of your whole layout, just so we know it's actually your layout. So only these 2 photos, a little bit of description of the layout, basically a community type of thing. Just show us what you've been up to. Tell us roughly what you've been doing, how long it's taken for you to make the layout. And it's just a bit of show and tell because simply there's no train shows at the moment. They're all being cancelled. Yeah. So
That's right.
I'll have a closer look at it tomorrow morning. So basically, you just got to upload into the discussion area. It won't go up immediately because I have to look at them and approve them. But just upload them anyway. I'll get them approved in the morning, and then we'll start judging them, and we'll get some results up. I guess maybe Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, sometime early next week, really. And yeah, very good. So competition are in full swing. So I guess we all, home doing some kind of hobby, really, of all kinds. So we will run quite a few different competitions. So we've done a railway that I think is our first railway competition, maybe the second one actually.
And
That's
right.
We're going to move the week after to some modeling competition, and then maybe Brad can come up with some RC competition of some kind. Could be maybe a Tamiya Vintage or RC Vintage. What do we think?
Because we already had the RC body build. Not body build, body painting.
That's right. So,
Well, that looks like a good one for. I think Warwick would be good at directing that one.
I think so.
He's taking RC bodywork to a new level. I think.
Yes, hasn't
I
it?
agree. I agree.
New art form.
That's right.
Absolutely. So we'll have some good photos of that next week. Hopefully, the next live is gonna pop in with his finished Mega Grasshopper. So
Yeah, for sure.
we'll be good to see that. Cool. So where do we start? Let's see if anyone has any questions. Again, pop them in the comments. We'll try to answer if we can. Obviously, we're not in the shop, so we can't run around to grab things, but we'll try to answer them.
That's right.
Who's going to start? I have a very nice comment here, so I think Brett Box is going to make an appearance.
Oh,
So New Jersey Demo is, had some chat with us during the week, and well, let's see, New Jersey, what car are you actually building? Let us know.
That's right. I sent Damo New Jersey a multi-fit Aramax tool instead of the 3.5 one, because we actually didn't have the 3.5 one on the shelf at the time. So I called up and gave the multi-tool, and it looks like it was the right option in this case. So
good.
Winner. It's good to have a few winners every now and then.
All right, Brett's box.
Let's have a look what's in this one. So we'll lift up the flaps. Here we go. Oh, there's a bag in there. There's a bag in the box. Now, this is something that I wholly can't take the credit for, nor do I tend to. Look at that.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Have you?
Yeah, I've seen it in another video.
That's right. The RC Car Brothers up in New South Wales, young Adam and Michael have put this one together for us. They've converted my what we'll call it old BD10 four-wheel drive platform and turned it into this Aramax Medius TCR front-wheel drive racer. So we used they utilized the Aramax kit and put it all together very nicely for me. They rebuilt everything from the ground up, a full nut and bolt resto, I suppose that you'd call it. Not that the car had done heaps of work in its previous life due to the nature that we've been enduring lately, but it only had like probably 20 or 30 batteries before it was converted, but now it is absolutely brand new and put together as a front-wheel drive racer.
Looks pretty fresh.
So the RC Car Brothers have done a fantastic job here, and you can see all the detail work. It's obviously got a whole new carbon chassis plate. It's got a whole new 2 top deck assembly, front here and rear. New motor mount where that is actually pushed further forward than the BD10 and on the other side of the spur gear to get the weight right up and get the motor right behind the spur gear. Sorry, right behind the servo, as you can see here. You couldn't really have the motor any further forward. We've also got a really heavyweight bumper bar here, which weighs about 95 grams. So again, put more of the balance more frontward to aid in the traction. And obviously there's no drive shafts or axles at the back, just free spinning, and it's a front-wheel drive monster.
It looks like the front-wheel drive is going to be quite big because there's a lot of different brands releasing their front-wheel drive cars recently. Yeah,
it's taken a while in Australia and probably worldwide to gather traction, pardon the pun. But it's probably been, on our shores for a good 2 years now. So TCR is a class of front-wheel drive cars of similar dimensions to our 1/10 touring car sort of platforms. So they've got a width of 190 mil and a wheelbase of around 255 mil. Of the four-wheel drive nature, and they have to run a hatch style or front-wheel drive style body, and a few rules that Australia has sort of stipulated, being that they've sort of got to have spoked wheels if they're available.
Oh, they look nice.
And we've got to use a hobby wing combo, which unfortunately isn't installed in this one yet, but that is the next stage of the adventure of this BD10 Aramax hybrid.
Well, I really like the body as well. I mean, it's a Honda Civic Type R, isn't it?
Well, essentially,
That's one of the BD bodies?
Yeah, this is one of the BD bodies. Very, very much Honda-esque. And, that's what they call the HCF. and they've done it for us in effectively box art, in that this is their sort of promo paint scheme, and they've done it in a very simplistic fashion of just painting a white main color with black window trims, which they've done really, really good work on. You can see there, and they've done black highlights around the spoiler, the front lip there, and also the back spoiler, the back wing. And it's come up, and they've used all these are just kit stickers that come with the body. BD Design really put a lot of effort into their decals on their front wheel drives and their GT spec cars. They come with a lot of decals.
It's got a real sort of a club racer look, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of more. It's a lot more scale than I suppose than we tend to paint our own bodies when we paint our RC bodies. But yeah, it's got beautiful headlights. It's it's really good looking for a front wheel drive and hatch body.
Yeah, I like it. It's nice.
So big shout out to the RC brothers for that.
Thank you very much. Good job.
Guys, so one thing I was going to say, this car tends to run on shorties from memory, isn't it?
That's definitely right. They do run on shorties. So that's very much like they run in, I've lost them here, in the off-road platforms as well. So as opposed to a lot of the full speed, the four-wheel drive touring cars, they run a Shorty Pack, the same as they use in off-road, I think, don't they, Nick? I think most of the 1/10 off-road cars all use 2S shorties pretty much throughout the range. Yeah,
absolutely. So, and as you can see, it's probably hard to see because I don't have a full one here, but they're a good like few centimeters, maybe 3 centimeters shorter or so, something like that. So normally they run all the chassis, so and it's a bit shorter.
Yeah, given that they're short in name. I'm sure that I've got some here, but I've probably hidden them on myself, which wouldn't be unusual.
Yeah, must be in another bread box.
Must be in another one of my boxes.
That's right. Here we go. That's another box. That's a fancy box. Here we go. There's it.
It's a fair difference, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is the Shorty Pack that Nick was referring to, and that's what we'll be running the front wheel drive. And that is a conventional long pack or normal style pack that we're using in 1/10 touring car. So
that's it.
So, yeah, and this is quite this Shorty is quite a big pack in the fact that it's quite fat or quite thick. A lot of them now are going, a good 3 or 4 mil lower, down to sort of I think 18.5 mil for the ultra low center of gravity, so they'll be down like that sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's the difference between a shorty and a conventional pack.
Yeah.
That's right. That's good.
And I suppose while we're on the front wheel drive thing and the body thing, we're very proud to announce this weekend at Hearns that we received a new brand of body. Indeed. We've received something that we've been excited to have. Zoo Racing has landed in store, and they do ultra competitive 1/10 touring car bodies. I think that's their market, and that's where their interests lay. And I've actually got a TCR body here that I used to race with, which happens to actually be a Zoo body in my familiar colours, and this is called the Gorilla. And it is based somewhat on a Corolla, so they sort of turned it into. But yeah, you can see how that's still the front wheel drive-esque body.
Yeah.
And that's the latest offering by Zoo, and that's the Gorilla body. And we're really pleased to have Zoo as an option for us, and you can see that they're both going to be very different looking, although very, very different, probably very similar performing. It's really hard for me to get them both on camera, I suppose.
Because the bit design look more like a real car. It does have a bit more of character and probably more definition and detail, I would say.
Yeah.
It's good how there's quite a difference in design, because quite often with the touring cars, it's hard to see much difference. And to have
a lot of great
cars going around, it makes it a bit more interesting too, I think.
A lot of great different design. And then we've got another offering for one of Brett's boxes. And this is actually my son's body, Tristan. He's actually had this for quite a while now. And this is the Zoo Racing Baby body. And you can see how it's got a very distinctive hump right here in the center, which Zoo probably pioneered in their 1/10 TC bodies. And yeah, and this is still a current body and available in store now. I was going to bring a clear body, but obviously they're very hard to show on camera. Yeah, it's a very simple, bright paint job. And yeah, a very fast body. It's got really heavy roof indentations, runners here, which add strength and add a lot of stiffness to the roof, and also channel the air down. I don't know if we can see that.
Well, the shape and the angle of the front windscreen, or basically the whole front end, it contributes a lot to the handling of the car, doesn't it? Particularly the steering. It does. It turns in.
It does, and I suppose Zoo were the first ones to really engineer their bodies in a wind tunnel with certain characteristics. So they've got a range of bodies which offer certain characteristics, and you can tune your car or your body to suit that track or your driving style. Yeah. As opposed to something that just looks cool, they've actually got like a body that has more aggressive steering, one that's more planted, one that's more neutral, one that'll give more mid-corner. So, yeah, so they've got a little bit different approach, I suppose.
When you drive them, the difference is unbelievable. Like you wouldn't think that in a small toy car would make such a difference, but it doesn't take much to get a body and have the car oversteering around the steering. Just by swapping from a body to another, or even just by simply moving it backwards and forwards. So these little cars are very sensitive and very tunable at the same time. So really,
people probably who aren't involved with the 10 scale on road probably think that we're mad the way that we talk about them, but it is actually a very critical factor, and it is something that you can really feel through the transmitter and the lap times and the car's attitude on track.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Now, Tony is suggesting that he's looking forward to the drag car body shell from BT. So BT is about to release next week, I think.
I think it's September worldwide release, isn't it?
September? Oh, okay, possible, yeah. So
pics of it so far. Looks good.
Looks really good. And is the first of a few, apparently, too, coming. So lots of development in Italy with the BTs. And yeah, so looking forward to that. That is going to look really cool.
Well, I think last week we had in store this the 1/7 GT, the infraction felony limitless big body. They've soon announced they've got the drag bodies on the way. It's really good how they're diversified and really becoming the leaders in various segments.
Yeah,
for sure. They're really good, whether it's 1/8 buggies, 1/10 drag, 1/8 GT. They're really leaps and bounds. And from all reports, the new Hyper HR, from what I've heard, obviously in Victoria and New South Wales, we haven't done much racing, but the boys in WA and South Australia have been raving about the new Hyper HR. So if you don't have one of those painted up and fitted, I highly recommend you get your hands on one, because you could well be left behind.
Absolutely. We actually have a quick question here. So, any tips to land the towing on a 10 scale RC car?
Yeah, well, if you don't have a setup system, I suppose you call it, or a setup gauge which incorporates a tow angle. Tow in something that's always best done with the car facing away from you. So you want to do it with the front wheels facing away. Obviously, you want to have your radio on and have your steering centered, and then you want your wheels to be dead straight to just a little bit out, what we call toe out. And if we can measure it, we usually go for 1 to half a degree toe out. And if you can't measure it, then you really just want it to be as close to straight or just a fraction toe out, pointing outwards as you can. By the Aramat setup station, it will get perfect. That is very true, RC car brothers.
Exactly. So
The most accurate way to do it, without a doubt.
that's right. So if you do lots of racing and you're really keen, then the setup station is the best way to go. If you're just starting out, I guess just having a good, having everything lined up that looks quite reasonably straight, maybe as Brett said, just a tiny bit facing out, really.
A tiny bit facing out. So the front of the wheels face out, and that's what we call toe out. If the front of the wheels are facing in ever so slightly, we refer to that as toe in. And that is generally very undesirable because the car will wander and not track very straight. So you always want very neutral to very minimal toe out to keep the car tracking straight.
Absolutely. Good. Well, we've got quite a few questions tonight. So shall we jump onto a different topic and then we go back to the other boxes?
Please.
Right.
Captain S-Man asked, what is the name of my cat? So
that's the name of the cat. I think it's something we need to address, and it was up here somewhere. Definitely there's a question. There you go.
Yes. So her name is Koo. So K-O-O.
There you go.
Koo.
Yeah. She's pretty chilled at the moment.
Relaxed tonight. It's not hungry yet.
Yeah.
And the next question was in relation to airbrushing. So
yes.
Let me find the game. Was Josh from memory?
So it was an airbrush kit, was it?
Yes, an airbrush kit. Yes, absolutely. So
we've got quite a number of airbrushes. So I always ask people what sort of work they want to do with the airbrush. And from there, we can recommend the basic nozzle size. So the general nozzle size we carry is the 0.3 millimeter, and that's what we consider a general purpose. Covers most of what we need it to do. So if you're painting radial control bodies, 0.3 is pretty good for doing some intricate work. And also for scale models, you can also use a 0.3. You can do quite fine lines if you need to do camouflaging on models, and then you can also wind it out a bit. You can do base coats too. Now, if you specifically do large areas like cars, probably get something a bit bigger, like a 0.5. If you want to do really fine detail, then you go down to a 0.2. And then from there, you need to work out your budget. So you can get basic airbrushes from, I think, around $60, and they can range up to $300-400. And then you need a compressor. So the compressor itself, you can get pretty good ones from about $250. So all in all, you'll be able to get a package together for just over $300. So just sort of, it just depends on what you want to do with the airbrush. But around about the $300 mark, you'll be able to get a good package.
Brilliant. Very good. Very good. Okay, so airbrushing. Well, what I will add, we have quite a few videos on our YouTube channel on airbrushes, compressors, and I guess how to use them, how to maintain them. So jump onto our YouTube channel, Hearns Hobbies, and you should be able to find a bit more information. You can leave some comments there. We can respond them as we see them. Normally respond them almost every day. So jump there and pop a comment. So cool. Very good. So what's next? Is that Gundam?
Because we've had quite a few different things come in, haven't we? So Gundams come in, and let's show this again.
Yes.
So how far do we get? We got someone who said it was Ferrari red, and then it's a Fiat.
It's a Fiat still. Let's see. Let's give another minute. I think this could be a bit of a challenge actually, because it's a reasonably recent Ferrari. So yeah, let's see.
So I think John's trying to order his dinner here. I think he wanted some dim sims and some chips before, but we've already sold out. So if you want some special fried rice and some sweet and sour pork, I'm going to help you out with that.
That's cool. They're coming in my place, unfortunately, John. So thank you for this. The Fanta is my favorite too, actually. Excellent. So that's cool. Okay, so 599X. Not quite. Let's put it back again. Let's see. Here we go.
I'm not up with these at the moment. I wouldn't know which one's which.
Ferrari, California, not quite. All right, let's put these away, and we can keep talking Gundam for a second.
Sure. So we've got a massive restock that's arrived. Massive. Like we haven't seen so many master grade kits in a long time. So it's probably about a year since I last saw this many master grade kits. And amongst all this restock, we've got a few new things. So I've brought back a few just to show you. So let's see. What's the first thing? I guess this is sort of pretty interesting. Don't know if any of you guys play this game. So this is Kirby. It's this, I don't know, this rubbery alien that jumps around, and I haven't actually played it, but it appears to be incredibly popular. So this is part
What
of
is it?
Hey?
It's creeping me out.
What do you mean it's creeping you out?
Whoa. I'm going to have nightmares about that.
It's good, isn't it?
That's fantastic. What's it called? Kirby.
Kirby. So this is one of the entry grade kits. Okay, so they recommend these. These are suitable for ages 6 and upwards. So for any kids that are starting off, these are perfect because you don't need any special tools to cut them. They just break off the sprue really cleanly with your hands, and then you just press them together. And there may be some stickers, but this is quite interesting. In that, let me just pull it out here. So it's just a couple of bits to simplify them. So you notice how Bandai have got their method of molding all the multicolors on the one sprue. This is a technology they tend to use exclusively because I assume this sort of mold making is very, very expensive. And they've already got the separation for the eyes because all those sort of parts are separate. So you've got some black parts. So basically what you're going to see is, see how here the eyes are all different color? Well, they're actually different colored plastics that are already molded. You just press it together and you don't need to paint it. It's going to look like that. So the tongue and the mouth, and then also the cheeks. So you notice here again, the cheeks are already out there. Okay, so simple like this. And then it comes with a base as well. So it comes with a star.
Really nice yellow, actually. Really bright.
I don't know if you can actually see the gates, but the gates are the points where the part is actually meeting the sprue. And they've been designed so cleanly that they're very minimal. So you can see how you can just crack them off, and it's not going to damage plastic. It's going to be really clean. And there's a blue part, which is also for part of the eyes. So yeah, so that's the first thing we've got, which is interesting. Now, what else have we got? Let's see. There's something here, new Gundam.
Wow.
It is aggressive.
There's a Calamity.
I like the green.
Gundam. I don't know much about the Gundam universe. This one's from Gundam Seed, and it's meant to be one of the artillery units. So you can see those big, massive beam cannons on the shoulders. We'll get a better idea looking at the side here. Okay,
that's
so it's pretty chunky. It's chunky. It's really thick box, as you can see. So this is a high grade. I know it's not a high grade. It's a full mechanics. Okay, so full mechanics is a slightly bigger size of high grade. It's got a little bit more posability to it as well with the joints. But there's actually 1:100 scale, which is the same as master grade, but less complex. Okay, then on this side, you'll be able to see the sort of poses you can get. So, you know, kneeling poses are generally pretty complicated, and this can do that quite easily. So he's got
Definitely needs more guns.
He needs more guns, doesn't he? Yeah, Kaiju Shorts knows what he's talking about. And he's got some sort of big, massive cannon in his chest as well. So that's pretty groovy. All right. So I don't know if I can really show you much, but I think this part gives you a really good idea of how Bandai have the multi-colors in the one mold. Okay, so we've got black, green, orange, so different, and a dark blue on this side as well.
How do they do it?
Well, basically you've got the mold, which is cut, and then you've got points which are cut off. So you can see here how the round points is the most noticeable here where the yellow meets. Okay, so they inject an individual color at different times. It all matches together.
That's really impressive.
These will be gated so that the color that you're injecting won't go through. And then once it's actually formed, that gate will be released, and then they'll be injecting the next color. And that's how they get these models so great. So you just need to cut them out carefully, clean off the nubs, and then when you press them together, you get a model that closely resembles the anime model. And then, of course, if you want to get into it even further, you just paint them up and they look really good. But if you build them like this, it's quite easy just to use a bit of a wash to give it a bit more definition. And actually, a wash is something I'm going to demonstrate a bit later with something else. But this gives you a good idea of what's involved. So Brett's missing me, like, scratch up all the plastic, yeah? You love that, don't you?
I love the plastic. Gets me
Yeah.
going. That's right.
And then we've got this one, the Ultraman.
Ooh.
Ultraman.
So this is part of the new series. So Ultraman is actually a really old character. So it's been around in Japan for a long, long time.
He looks
Really
dedicated.
still popular. The classic Ultraman, which has got a really pointy head. This is more modern stuff that sort of resembles, I don't know, it's a bit more like modern Iron Man style, but it still uses the quite unique shapes. And this Tiger Sky type is actually part of the original type of character, but it's just been modernized. So these are really good too, because with these, as you can see, these are designed with a lot of ball joints in them to give them really great posability too. So again, these are really good for stop motion. So I mean, stop motion is really popular now, and I think there's a lot of devices that help you do stop motion animation. So you can see it's got jumping poses and such, and you can actually light this up as well. So you can either get the optional LED unit, which is over here, or if you're really clever, you can just wire it up separately. And then over here, you can see some of the other characters which are in the series. I'm not too sure. I think someone was telling me that it's either on Netflix or one of the other streaming platforms where you can see this series. Okay, so
What? What series?
Hey? Which series?
Gundam series?
No, it's an Ultraman series.
Oh, Ultraman
It's live
series.
action, I think. Okay, so you've got individual parts here. So you've got all the thighs, forearms, arms. Let me just find the head. There's a head. That's here. Gives you an idea of sort of detail that's there. So you can see
He's only got a little head.
What was that?
He's only got a little head.
Yeah, he's got a little head. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Is that better? So with these ones, they've actually started making them in the smaller 1/8 scale. I think that's because it's easier to collect. So this is going to stand about this high. And some of the earlier ones are actually on 1/6 scale. So I've got one of the earlier ones here. So this is something that I actually built up when I was living in Japan. So this is more like 1/6 scale. So I don't have these anymore, although I think they are planning on reissuing them. So this guy's all jointed and stuff too. So this first came out, this would have been roughly 10 years ago. And that was quite amazing when they first came out. But yeah, so that's the new Ultraman. And so it's interesting that I wasn't sure if Ultraman was going to be popular when it got released here as a model kit, but it's probably got a selection of over 10 now in the store, and they've been very popular. And I think it's because they're quite interesting, and they have modernized them quite a bit. Oh, what's that? The Ultraman's on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, but it's suggesting that they're doing designs from Netflix series and video games as well, so that's why they keep making different versions, I guess.
Yep. So the Kamen Rider series, which is an old Japanese series, which would have been around the same era as this, that's also quite popular too, and we've got quite a few kits of them. Is that Ultraman from Ready Player One? I don't know. Could be.
Aaron shouldn't know these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Don't know. But yeah, so that's really nice. So they've got different arms. Oh, sorry, not different arms, different hands. So you've got open hands and then you've got closed hands. So you can do quite a lot of different action poses, punching poses and stuff. So yeah, so that's just a selection of 3 that I brought in. So they're the brand new ones. But we've got a whole heap of reissued kits, particularly Gundam, which we haven't seen in a very long time. We've got a whole lot of the big Sazabis as well, the cars, which are really popular. Yeah, I think we'll take some photos next week and show some more stuff. Oh, there's one.
I've got one too, and this is, I guess, that version of Evangelion. I think they're taking the same avenue as the one the video just showed before. This is Mark 6. Yeah. So we've seen.
This is really amazing because with the new series of Evangelion real grade models, there's been a lot of time getting the joints incredibly good so that they can have super duper posability. But this part here is probably one of the most amazing.
All right.
Okay, so you see that part that's surrounded in the clear green. That's actually the 2 front horns. and rather than painting all the stripes, they've actually molded them in place. So that's not multicolored separate bits. That's multicolored one piece.
So this one here, let me see if I can point to here. Can you see this yellow part here? That's actually less than a millimeter thick kind of plastic injection molded within the kind of bluish, is it purple kind of horn. So really, really impressive. So let me grab the actual box art so you can actually see over here. See if you can see here.
Yeah, so the two horns on the front. Actually, you can't see horns on that one.
Here.
Maybe the front one. Here. Yeah, that's it. So you can see how there's a clear green in between.
Yellow stripes.
Yep, and then molded in the yellow stripes. That is amazing.
That is phenomenal. So is this the first one that we see with this kind of detail, isn't it, BJ?
Well, the first one had that, but only had one stripe. So this one has actually got multi, which is amazing. So they've got this this new, I guess you'll call it a division, which is like a laboratory. And in Japanese, they just cut it short and they call it labo. And they've done figurines. There was one of another Evangelion figure, and she's got semi-transparent coating on her clothing, so you can see the different depth. So we had a couple of those in a few months ago, and they're all sold out, unfortunately, so they're quite rare. But they've been experimenting with all these different densities of plastic to give different effects without the need of paint, which is quite amazing. They're really pushing the envelope.
Absolutely. That's a question from Conan. When were you living in Japan, and if you've been at Shizuoka?
Oh, so I was living in Japan. When would it have been? Probably 6-7 years ago. And yes, we've been to the Shizuoka Fair. So I went to Shizuoka with Nick in 2000 and when was that? 18?
18 must be, yeah.
And I've been to the Tokyo Hobby Show quite a number of times as well. So been there probably, I don't know, more than I can count on my fingers, I think. So, but I've only been to the Shizuoka once, and I think that's worth going again. So
definitely,
we're planning on going back, but with everything that's happening, we'll just have to wait a bit longer and see. So
absolutely,
it's good, it's really interesting.
Absolutely, looks like the guessing on the card is kicking in.
Really?
No, happening. It's all happening. So there's quite a few attempts. So the 599, there's a Ferrari California, La Ferrari, and then we have Ferrari Portofino. But Con has come up with an 812 Omologato, which is very close.
Oh,
very close. And then we have 812 GTS. So not quite. I'm gonna bring it out again. I may put a bigger screen. Let me see. Okay. Bit of reflection.
That is a supercar.
Can we focus it? No. I'll remove the case. Let me remove the case.
Don't let that bespoke air out.
Oh.
No, it'll be fine.
Oh.
Okay, it's coming out. Just careful. This is very limited edition, so it's number 31 of 99. Okay, so one thing that's very delicate in this car are the side mirrors. So if you touch them as you remove your case, you tend to break them, actually. Here we go.
Wow.
No more.
Always got such good paint finish.
The paint works amazing, and the detail, like on the carbon rotors and stuff, it's just phenomenal.
So I see if we turn it. Oh, doesn't focus. No, it's focusing on me, so I'll get this. There we go.
I like those nostrils next to the lights.
That's it. Here we go. I think we have it. Ian has once again pulled out the.
Ian has to be banned from these things.
I think so. I think he's won it already 62 times in 61 shows. Not quite. in Corsa red, shiny. So it's got a color as well. This is it.
Oh, this guy.
Corsa shiny. If you hadn't taken it out of the case, you wouldn't have guessed that.
There it is. Look at this.
What colour's the interior, Ian?
Yeah, let's give us the interior now. So as you can see, the level of detail of the interior is actually. Let me get closer. Looks actually focusing.
I can tell that the hand stitching is done in red on that one.
Yeah.
Some of them are done in yellow, and some of them are done in like a graphite or a grey colour.
That's right.
What's red around the dash? Is that stitching as well? Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Right.
So these are the wheels. So suggesting you can see the yellow brake calipers and the carbon disc.
Yeah, it's so detailed.
Rear end exhaust with a carbon, I guess, bottom really. All the carbon inserts here.
The edges of the exhaust are too.
I think the only car that's allowed to have less exhaust than 4 is a Lamborghini.
Is that a rule?
That is a rule.
Right.
Either has to have 4 exhausts or be a Lamborghini.
Right.
And here's the front end.
Yeah, nice how it's got the prancing horse on the grill there.
That's right, and that's photo edge. So it's not a deck. It's actually metal.
And those actual bases there where your finger is hand stitched, and it's like bespoke leather, isn't it too?
That's absolutely correct. So this is a BBR 1/18 scale model. So for those that are new to this kind of brand and product, that's a resin. So that's not traditional metal. It's more a resin hand built car. So they're very limited. They make, in this specific case, only 99. So worldwide, very, very special and very detailed. So one big difference, we actually have a video on YouTube that we discuss the differences between resin models and die-cast, but this specific one won't have any opening doors or whatsoever, but just a superb level of detail in finishing, the quality of the color. As someone was pointing before, very shiny, very, very clean. I guess the glass is very thin to actually make it look extremely transparent and real, and every detail is there, everything.
I think the glass attention makes all the difference between the resin models and the die-cast metal ones.
I think so, yeah.
It is thin, although it does feel delicate. It gives it that much more realistic scale look. It doesn't distort your vision as you look through it, and you see all the details quite clearly.
Because I guess you can see, you can only see in person, but inside you have all the panels, all the controls. It's all there really. It's like a real car, and you can probably see a little bit from this perspective.
Well, the instrumentation's even on the dashboard and the heater vents and everything.
Yeah. You can probably see a little bit from here. You can see. So everything is there. So the windows are really important. They have to be clear, and so you can see absolutely everything inside. So very good. So successful tonight on the car.
Good stuff.
Ian Murray again smashing it out of the park.
Absolutely. So very good. So what's next? Is that more in the Brett's box?
Do you want to dive into another one of Brett's boxes?
Yeah,
I think I can't wait for it. Let me put you on a big screen.
This is just a little box, this one. There's a few items in it though, and I don't know that we'll have time to go through all of them. But since we've been talking about modeling and resining, I think that this is a clear segue.
Oh.
Now, who knows where this is headed?
Oh, yes.
Suspension
Here
arm.
we have, can anybody help me out? Now, this is off a Yokomo YZ4 SF2. And this is a production, very high quality, it's a model resin arm, isn't it? It'll be a carbon injection arm.
Yeah.
So what Hearns Workshop have done and been working on is their very own modeling. So what we've got here wouldn't exactly fit in one of Brett's boxes. here we have our very own Hearns Workshop 3D printed arm. Can everybody see that clearly?
It is really exciting because we've been able to play around with quite a few different ideas.
Yeah.
Now, you'll notice this arm, as opposed to the standard arm, has an awful lot more detail. You can see here, it's sort of got this mesh inner lining. Now, that's just not there just for visual purpose. That is like structural mesh that's integral to the design and the stresses put upon the arm, as opposed to this one here, which is just an injection molded plastic arm, albeit with top quality carbon graphite resins. But here we have our own Hearns Workshop in-house drawn, 3D printed arm.
Well, that's actually a hollow shell with the matrix on the inside.
It is, isn't it?
Mm.
So it's drawn. It's almost drawn from the inside out. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, pretty much. I guess it's a very advanced kind of way of manufacturing that can only be done with a 3D printing type process. You can't injection mold anything like that, but that gives very lightweight and strength. So the shell itself, it gives the cross-sectional area, and then you fill it with this mesh, which is it's similar to the principle when you see the bridges with the metal kind of trusses and all that. They use a mesh type system, which is in tension and compression in different, to I guess have this self-supporting type structure. Just I guess to keep it very simple. And if you notice, our arm is a lot thicker because the thickness of the arm is actually where you get your strength, your cross-sectional area. So we managed to get a stronger arm using, obviously this manufacturing process, which is actually 30 or 40% lighter as well than the original one. We actually run them, and they work quite fine. So they're quite strong, and so very much looking forward to try them. I can see a question from Ian. Ian is asking if they're longer. So this is actually 1 millimeter longer than the kit one. But with this process, we can manufacture virtually anything. It can be 2 millimeter longer or 2 millimeter shorter, and it's really easy to do. There's no modification on the mold. There's a few hours of rejigging the design, but it's definitely doable. So in this case, we had the first version was, I think, 0.5 millimeter longer, and now we are an extra 0.5 or 1 millimeter from memory. I don't remember exactly, but that extra width gives to the car a lot more stability. I think Team Associated went in the same direction, and so we extend them a little bit. So very much looking forward to try this.
Yeah, the material is very special too.
Well, it is, and it's something that I'm not qualified, honestly, to talk about, but it's a very advanced, high-strength polymer, isn't that right, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a high-strength resin, which from memory is 50 MPa compressive strength, really very, very tough. So really, really strong. So it does perform really well. It's very interesting. We were talking just the other day, as when we drill it or something, it becomes really powdery because that's a manufacturing process on polymer. But at the same time, it's got really strong kind of modulus and overall strength. So really cool. So interesting. And this is going to open lots of.
The main thing that I noticed when actually bolting this one up, because obviously this is the only one we've got at the moment on this. This is actually Nick's YZ4 SF2, and is that the clearances are very, very minimal to almost what I would call tight. Now, on a normal arm, you would usually have to. Well, I would like to sort of wet and dry profile and machine, if you will, to get the correct fit, to make sure that there's no binding and to get that free motion. This arm is effectively tight with no clearance, no slop, and yet it has no friction in the friction point. So it's almost like the surface tension of the plastic is much less than that of the injection molded parts, which I think is a fantastic thing because the new arm effectively has 0 to no slop of being tight fitting, yet also has no binding. And that's also going to increase under load. So when we've applied steering force and G-force across the hinge pins, it's going to create much less drag than on this one, say. And it might not sound much, but it could be like as much as, I'd like to say, like 5 weight in shock oil or something under load. So you're getting that sort of inconsistency, whereas this one here, like you can push it hard and bind it up, but it doesn't bind. It's really quite a unique material.
So there's a few questions here. Aaron asking how it holds the thread, and so far so good. So this the previous model that we had, it run quite a few battery packs, and they feel very good. Even we've been putting screws on and trying and pull them and so forth. They've been very reliable. Lots of in and out with screws. So far it looks really, really promising. So definitely. As for custom designs, that's a challenge. These kind of things do take many hours of development. So it's something that is possible. It just we want to finish the first one, and we'll probably develop more. So this one here has been on a car.
That's the version 1 arm.
Definitely. And that screws has been in and out there probably 200 times.
Yeah.
And still goes strong. So this specific arm has been run for, I don't know, quite a few battery packs. So.
And this one here, you can see it. I mean, it's hard now that it's actually screwed into the car, but this one here is a lot heavier and a little bit different in construction, in that the you can't see right through the weave, and the weave doesn't come out past the inner hinge pin like it does on this one. The version 2 arm that's bolted up to the car has a lot more reliefing and a lot more finer internal honeycomb mesh. And if it was a motorbike frame, I'd call it Delta Box. Do you remember that, Nick?
Delta Box? No.
Delta Box or honeycomb aluminium extruded frames was something that Honda trademark may or may not have developed.
There we go.
Yeah, exciting times.
Exciting time. Always something happening at Hearns. Always innovating, trying something new. A bit for fun, a bit with purpose. But I guess it's actually really clean image, Really, really good, actually. You see really well.
Pity about the thrashed car, Nick.
Yeah, sadly. Wasn't mine originally. I can name the actual owner of this car. I just, unfortunately, got a second hand. But I didn't pay very much, so I'm okay with that. The car. So
that's fantastic.
I guess everyone knows that if I try to build one, it gets to about 5% and sits there for 2 months. So Aaron built a car to me and Simon too. So
I think we've got a Vanquish that's testament to that, actually.
Is it?
It doesn't even have to be a performance car.
Exactly. There we go. Someone is Delta Box from it's Yamaha.
Delta Box is Yamaha, sorry. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's been a while since I was in bikes.
Shall we talk about a competition?
Well, we should. Actually, I guess since we're talking about the Hearns workshop, we're going to move on to a new competition. So I thought we'll kick off competitions again with the Railway Photo Comp, which finishes today. So get your entries in if you want to get into that. But we're going to move on to something that's quite exciting for us, and it's going to involve Hearns Workshop. Okay, so you'll need to get yourself a Hearns Workshop special item, which I think Nick has there. That one there. Okay, so it's going to be a figure painting competition vignette. So a vignette is a very small diorama, I guess. So imagine that figure on a small base, and you'll see that on the base there's some accessories. So there's some suitcases, there's a skull, there's a helmet, and then, of course, there's a weaponry there, which is going to be on the figure. So we're going to make the competition. It's a painting competition and a building of the vignette. So you'll need to get yourself one of these sets and then build it up, and then post it up on our Facebook event page for judging. Now, so there's one which has been primed.
Yep.
So it's going to look like that. And then just to give you an idea of the
quality
you'll be able to get. So this is actually a different figure, which we've just put a wash on, so you can see the definition that you can get out of these. Okay, but of course we want you to do something a bit more interesting than this. This is just a demonstration, so it's a bit easier for you to see how good these models are when you get them. So basically, there's going to be some simple rules. So you're going to have to use the figure. Okay, so the figure is a must. And then if you can use the accessories as well, you'll be given additional points. So if you can use everything, you'll get all the bonus points. If you use one, you'll get some extra points. If you don't use any, then you'll only be judged on the value of the figure on its base. Okay,
so what accessories are there?
So we have 2 luggages. So if I can, actually, let me jump on a bigger screen. Here we go. Okay, so we've got 2 luggages down here, 2 different sizes. There is a skull on this side. Then that skull is actually really nice. It's very, very well detailed. So if you take your time on, preparing all your base color, and then a bit of dry brushing and so forth, can come out really nice. Like we showed the other week, the real from Green Stuff World. That would be like a very nice touch. Then we have a helmet, and I guess there is a figure with this kind of weaponry on this side here. So the figure comes in 2 parts. So as you can see the front here, there's missing the hand and the gun,
so
and you just need to glue it up.
This is a figure. This is another sample that I've glued up. Just to give you an idea.
Let me jump on this one. Here we go.
Okay, so let's see. The camera's trying to focus on my face. Let's try and cover my face and see what happens. No, it's probably about as far as we can go. So it's basically quite a modern looking Russian type of special forces type figure. He's got a balaclava on, got AK-47 or 74 type weaponry. But this wouldn't look out of place in any sort of post-apocalyptic type scene. So this one I've just what's the word I'm looking for? I've just primed it in white primer, and that gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like. So of course you can just have it like this on a base. But just like our other competitions, we want to try to see the best work done. And photography is a really important part of the competition as well. So since we don't have face-to-face type competitions, which only judge the overall appearance of a model, because it's online, we actually want to see this in its best photographic composition as well. So it's going to take some painting skills, some creativity in making the base, creativity in using the extra bits, then also some camera skills too. So all of those are going to attract different points. And then the entry system is going to be pretty much the same as all our other competitions. So with every entry that goes is uploaded, $5 is going to go into the pot for the prize. And the prize gets split up into first, second, and third. So it'll will accept entries, as many as possible. And the maximum the pot's going to get to is $300, which is quite a bit. So we're going to have these sets available. Well, when will these be available? So
probably Monday. We'll have. Well, we've got a couple of ready now, but there'll be, a few ready on Monday also.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll have to have a link so that people can actually choose to purchase it and add to their the carts if they like, or if you purchase over a particular amount, we're going to give you one of these for free. The
full set actually for free. So
yes.
You can receive
the full set like that. So what?
Yeah.
So what was the amount again? So orders over
$150. You get this for free.
Okay.
And
So that's
the price is going to be a one-off for $15, and is going to be just exclusive for the competition. So we won't be reselling these anymore. You'll be able to buy everything individually going forward. So it will be a set with luggages, a set with skulls, and the figure itself. So as a one-off, it will be this for $15, which is obviously just to get the competition, I guess, going and give you a head start.
Yeah, and then so basically the offer for the $150 for a free competition set, that's going to be from now until next Friday when the competition starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so look out for the link. So we'll post up the link for the set once we get it ready, which shouldn't be too long. And then remember that any orders that we receive over $150 from now until Friday, we'll be offering one of those sets for free. So I guess since I've got this here, so I guess in the meantime, I'm going to do a black wash on this, and I'll just do a live tutorial and show you how to do a black wash. It's going to take a little bit of time, so I'm just going to use a bit of this Tamiya panel liner.
You can do it now.
Huh?
You can do it now.
Yeah, why?
Is it safe for the pussycat there?
Yeah. She's all right. I mean, she's interested, but
is she?
Probably get a bit of wash in there. Right?
She's going to enter the competition, apparently.
She only likes lacquers.
Yeah. Well, this is going to take a little bit of time to sort of dry, I think, but I'll show you here.
Well, I guess we do
this, and then we with these washes before. So you can see there, they come with a brush inside. Okay, so and a wash is basically just a very, very thin down paint. Now the Tamiya stuff is oil based, and basically we're just going to paint this all over this guy everywhere. Okay, and what this is going to do is just going to fill up all the deep crevices with this black, and it's going to help define all the shadows, and it's going to look much more three-dimensional.
And that's available off the shelf.
Hey?
And that's available off the shelf.
What's that? This wash?
That wash?
Yeah, you can buy it off the shelf.
Wow.
Or you can make it yourself.
That's like cheating, BJ.
Yeah, it is cheating, because in the old days you had to mix your own. So you can get water-based washes as well. Now, water-based washes, you've got to actually manipulate it where you want it at the start before it dries, because once it dries, you won't be able to change the depth of it. But this oil-based stuff, okay, so you can see there, I've actually painted it all the way over everything. I've only done the front, so we'll give it a bit of a chance to dry. And once it dries, I'm going to clean it off, and it's just going to remain in all the deep crevices, and it'll give you further highlights. So we'll come back to that. We'll give it maybe 10 minutes or so. So we'll
how do you clean it off?
I'm going to use some enamel thinners.
Oh, okay? That's amazing.
So enamel thinners.
I'm on the edge of my seat. Is that a God Hands one? Yeah. They are the best cotton wool buds I've seen.
God Hand. No, this isn't the God Hand one. I haven't written God Hand on this one yet. So, no, they don't actually make any God Hand things. But it would be nice if they did. Tamiya do, and Mr. Hobby do, and they've got really pointed ones. This is just your regular ones that you stick in your ear type of thing. So they tend to work fine. But these ones are a bit furry, okay, because they're loosely wound. You'll find that, you know, when I first saw these sort of things coming in a hobby shop made by Tamiya, I thought, no, there's no way. What's the point of them? But the tight wound ones actually don't come apart when they're wet. So
I hate that.
I use these because I've got a whole bunch of them, right? But basically these ones you use them once and you throw them out. The other ones you can use multiple times. So if you're doing decals and things, they do actually last longer, the tight wound ones. But for this purpose, these are fine. So we'll get into that a bit later. But yeah.
So meanwhile that is drying up, shall we talk about the new Night Custom RC car?
Oh my God, how exciting is that?
Well, so
we've had phone calls, I've had messages, we've had pre-orders.
Let me put this video on, guys. Let me see how we can make this happen.
Young James Richardson has taken the opportunity to jump on and get a pre-order for one of these, and they look fantastic.
Wow.
I'm going to run the video. Put the volume down a little bit so we can still talk a little bit. Okay, so
this is about the same size as a Traxxas TRX4?
Yeah, about the same size. It's a 1/10 scale, but this is made by Team Associated. So Element is a brand of Team Associated that they launched just recently, probably a couple of years ago, and they do rock crawlers. So they come up with all sorts of different rock crawlers. But one thing very particular of this one is their front independent suspensions from memory. I think should have those. You can see coming out. Actually, it's got independent arms, which is very different compared to the single axle that you see on a Traxxas or axial type car. So it looks very real. But this specific model is made in collaboration with Night Customs. Night Customs has been one of the first company doing 3D printed parts for rock rollers. They started, I think, in 2013 or so, and have a huge range of all kind of upgrades to make the car look really realistic, I guess. And see Night Custom, you can see the little logo there. So jump on the Instagram page, you can see some really cool RC cars, and that's a collaboration with Element or Team Associated for this special truck, which is brilliant.
Well, looks pretty good. Looks very scaled.
It's very good. It does. It does. It's fully licensed, so I think they've got quite a few different licenses for all the different parts. So the tires, the bumpers, they're all injection molded, obviously. So they look really real, really good quality and strong at the same time. It's got the exhaust pipe as well there. You can see at the back. I think there's an exhaust pipe or not, maybe. So really nice. It's got an overdrive transmission. So that means it's pulling a bit more from the front, which is very handy for a rock roller. You can see what.
Well, it's impressive, isn't it? The way it's going over those chunky boulders.
Rock rollers have come a really long way. I've still enjoyed my TRX4, and I think I will probably enjoy one of those actually.
I love it in the water.
Ah, the water. We love
That's
water.
your favorite network, Stevenson's River.
That's it.
Well, I think his foam inserts are going to be no good.
No, that's okay. You can leave them up to 6 months with salt water; they're still fine.
Just don't trust the transmission.
Absolutely, yeah. Transmission are good. So, and
Fantastic.
And here it is. So this should arrive soon, I think. Actually, Brett, you have a bit more information. When was that? Towards the end of the year?
Yeah, well, I've heard as late as November on these. And like I said, there's been a lot of interest around them, given the fact that crawlers seem to have taken two real distinct directions. As RCers, we usually focus really heavily on one part. We're not just happy with just taking something out of the box and playing with it. So there's the real guys that really want the crawling and the performance capabilities. And then I think there's the guys that really want the scale and the modeling sort of aspect of their crawler. So as a whole, the crawler sector is fantastic, and this one definitely falls into the I suppose it's very high performance, but it's also very high detailed. And associated or elements collaboration with Night Customs has really brought it up to the forefront. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good product.
I guess until now, to have that level of detail will require lots of skills and time as well to perhaps buy the parts, custom made them, scratch build them. Even 3D printing them requires still lots of effort to clean them up and paint them and attach them to the car, modify the body. So this is probably the first ready to run that comes with this kind of finishing level quality.
Yeah, and I think even I diverge here, even the Traxxas TRX4, like the new generation that's coming out, I think they are going more towards a higher level of scale. From all reports with their no body clips and that sort of thing, to really take crawling to the next level.
Absolutely. So very much looking forward to that. So that will be on pre-order very, very soon. So we actually taking some pre-orders in store, but if you join our newsletter by the weekend, you will have a lot of exclusive information about this truck just coming out to you on Sunday, I think. Sunday morning. So
Sunday morning. Fantastic.
Sunday morning. So morning reading.
Well, we've got a minute. Can I open another box?
Yeah.
Well, if I don't get into this little box before we get out of here, as you can see, there's still stuff left behind, but that's going to have to wait for another week, I think.
No,
what have we got here? It's not mouth freshener. What is it?
Oh,
Dominate.
If you can get
I've
it
said
up the
that.
right way.
You can use it
This-
in your mouth, couldn't you? It's non-toxic.
I don't have the right thing, but this goes really well with this.
TDK, absolutely. These two are a match made in heaven. Now, my TDK won't be far away, but it's probably fallen by the wayside as I haven't been to the track lately. But yeah, this new Dominate is a new non-toxic tire cleaner. So whether it's on-road, off-road, 8 scale, no prep drag racing, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose traditionally with it, we've always used, I want to say, brake clean or a very harsh synthetic and abrasive chemical, which is no good for your skin, nor, to be honest, for the tire. I find them too aggressive on the tire. But yeah, so this is something that we will apply to the rubber either when it's new and we're preparing it, or even in between races before we're putting on our traction additive or tire goop, the TDK stuff, of course, or in between races when we're prepping up the tires before we go out to run for the next week or the next weeks or the next months if you're in lockdown.
That's it.
So yeah, this Dominate stuff, and that would be as simple, you know, like I said, it's safe to handle and safe to touch. This is a brand new tire here off of my off of the TCR. I quietly took it off while BJ was doing some painting. So probably as far as that goes, I've got a bit of workshop cloth here, and obviously the tire and our Dominate. I would go as far as to spray it on the tire. Now you don't need heaps of it. It doesn't need to be dripping everywhere, but it does need to be wet on the surface, just shiny. Now, given the fact that it's non-toxic, you can sort of rub it in a bit. Now, given a new tire, I would probably usually do on a tire sander and with a Scotch-Brite type of scuffing pad to get all the mold release and the agent off of the surface area of the tire and to open the pores. We'll just pretend in between races or whatnot, and we'll just wipe it onto our workshop cloth. And you can see here that it wipes off nice and clean. It definitely does not have a foul stench or strong stench. It's definitely not offensive. It's not toxic. It's not going to harm your skin in any way. And now the pores of the rubber is activated or open and ready to absorb even more of the TDK goodness. So you would do that, and that would get the oil residues and the track residues off of your tire before you're actually applying your traction additive.
That's good.
It's really good to see.
So,
because, I mean, how many years have been using all that dangerous stuff?
Well, yeah, and the dangerous stuff, and still, I don't think that tire cleaner or tire prep is governed as much as tire additive. But definitely, if you are conscious about your health and your well-being, a product like this is far better for you to be handling and prepping your tires with than a brake cleaning product. And it's somewhat better for the rubber in that I feel that some of the other ones almost take too much of the oils and the composition out of the tire and the process of the tire, because you do actually want some of those rubbers and that tackiness in there to help aid the compound in adherence and traction, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I can still remember those years when guys were using that really sticky stuff and they'll be putting on gloves before putting it on. I mean,
yes,
that's right.
That's it.
That's right. You know, and now it's come to the point of, you know, and the most common one is a brake clean product, you know, of the Worth brand, and I've got no problem about naming it because I'm pretty sure that all us on-road racers and majority of probably 1/10 racers have used it lately. So you'll just spray that all over your tires, all over your hands, scrub the tires off, get all the debris off, and it does do an awesome job of degreasing and cleaning the rubber, but to the detriment of your health and your toxic. And if you read up what's in that stuff, it's definitely no good for yourself or the environment to be handling, to be ingesting, and you find that you might get dermatitis or skin conditions.
Yeah, that's right.
So dominate RC Maker Dominate rubber tire cleaner. Yeah, it's really good in your preparation and your tires. It's safe to have, safe for the little one to be touching, safe for the old ones like myself, safe for the moustache, safe for everything.
The really good thing about them is that they're eco-friendly as well. They're eco-friendly in that you can reuse the bottle because you can get the refill for them.
Yes, I didn't take the trouble to actually grab one of those the refill bottles, but yeah, it's penguin and enviro-friendly in that you get the soft plastic refillable 100 ml diaphragm, if you will, that you empty into the spray bottle, and then it's less waste and less hard fill in your rubbish bin.
Yeah, that's good.
Brilliant. How's your figure? Is your figure ready to go?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not fully dry yet. So the advantage of the oil one is you would normally let that fully dry, and then when you rub it with the cotton wool bud with the thinner on it, it'll only take off the tips. So still a little bit wet. So I might pull off a little bit more thin wash that I want, but it's good enough that I can demonstrate. Okay, so
let me go.
See him there. So he's looking a bit sort of darker with the wash. Okay, compare that to the back, which I haven't really done, which I'll try and flip around this. Okay, it's still pretty white, right? Okay, so that's with the wash. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to wet up some thinner. All right, so I've got my thinner there in the bottle. I'm just shaking it a bit, so I'll just get a little bit of thinner off the cap. Because you don't want to flood the cotton wool bud. You only want it to be just a little bit. Okay, so it just wipes the tips off. If you flood that too much, it's going to pull out all of the black wash from all the crevices.
Did you just put it in from the cap?
Hey?
That is
I just grabbed a little bit from the tap.
Well, you should teach me that.
Well, don't you know, you just shake it like this and just pull it
I
off the
didn't
cap.
know that.
There you go. Right, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe this across it. Well, since I'm showing you guys, I can't really see what I'm doing here, but let me just turn around and just...
It looks like you're trying to brush his teeth.
Well, that's probably why he's holding a gun. He's not particularly happy about it, is he? I mean, he's got this big, massive thing trying to shove into his mouth. Sure, a lot of people
not
would be happy
impressed.
about that. All right, so I'm just rubbing across the top. Rub around here. All right, so this is basically just pulling off all the excess wash that's collected on the tops. So there'll be all the high points, which will be your highlights. Okay, so that's pretty much where we're at. So if you compare this, you can see how some of the washes come off.
Yep.
I don't know if you can really see all of that, but...
Wow, look at the definition.
Definition, yeah? Okay, so there's a lot more definition than the back like this. And that's that's the same way that's been done with the one that Nick's holding there.
So this will be time.
So it doesn't look flat anymore. And that's just what a wash does. Okay, so it's really simple. So yeah, so that's how you use the wash, and that's
very effective.
It's really easy. So that's what you need, really. I mean,
so what happens after the wash? After the wash, then what?
After the wash? What do you mean?
Well, would you add colors and stuff after the wash or not?
So the wash is something that you add onto your base coat. So usually in military, just say you painted up all the green, we can add a wash, and then the washes can be different colors depending what you want. So black is most popular because black gives you the ultimate shadow. Like there's no light at all. But you can get it in grays, greens, browns, flesh colors. So whatever you like. But as long as you know that the wash is thin and it's going to end up in the crevices, then you choose the right color to suit whatever you're painting. So as a black, that makes it the best demonstration because we're doing it straight on white. That's the ultimate contrast. So you can see all the detail that's been sculpted into this. You can see the lines on the pockets, on the pants. Don't know if you can actually see the shoelaces.
Here
as well.
I was thinking that you painted all those little lines.
Yeah, see, easy, isn't it? It's like cheating.
Cheating.
So there you go. That's the easiest way of demonstrating a wash. As you can see, Coot's impressed too.
Very much. She's not asking for dinner yet, actually.
No,
You
she
feel
will
a
be
bit-
searching in the eye.
Here we go.
Have I shown this before?
No, you haven't.
I can't remember if I've shown this. This is one
I
of the, they're quite rare now. This is a 48 scale X-Wing from Bandai. So I built this up really quickly a couple of years ago for a comp. And I've brought it back home because I added extra lighting into it, but one of the wires broke, so I'll fix that now. And that was the engines. This is one of the lit ones. So let me just switch it on and I'll see if I can show you what it's like. So those are the LEDs in the back. I've actually added a candle circuit to them, so they're actually slightly flickering. But this has actually got this has got sounds and actions as well. Okay, so you got that X-Wing effect there. I've actually added LEDs to the inside as well, but you probably won't be able to see those. So I've got fiber optics in the cockpit, and there's I don't know if you can see the LED from there for Luke Skywalker for his aiming lens. And then you've got this, what is it? Sort of laser effect with the LEDs on the side. And then you can close the wings again. But I painted this up so quickly, I'm actually going to try and repaint it and do a better job of it. So
I was going to say, it looks a bit weathered, mate.
Looks a bit weathered. Well, that's how, Luke treats them. So it's got all chips and everything here.
Looks like engine number 3 is running a bit lean.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to have to give that a tune. So you can see I've used quite a bit of the wash on this as well. So this is quite a lot of, to me, black wash. But yeah, it's just not that finessed. Yeah. So that's my 48 scale. Yeah.
That's super nice.
I think that's about all I got.
That's very good. Well, what else? I think we're done. I think
It's been a long week.
I think there is one question. Let's see. We've got 4 seconds to respond to this question.
What's that? Is there something you wish that was scale model but isn't available?
Oh.
Scale model.
Well, after that crab that we received a few months ago, transparent crab, I don't think there's anything else missing, really.
I'm sure they've built almost everything, haven't they?
I think so. I remember seeing, like, what do we see? The light, like, injection molding machines from Hasegawa. There's absolutely anything else. You can think about anything else.
Oh, there's got to be something, isn't there? I do know there's something that did make that I missed. Oh, what's Warwick one? The Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, the Bushmaster in 35th. Well, the Bushmaster's been made before.
Yeah, definitely was made before.
Around the side. What is it? Sideshow. No? What's the brand again? I can't remember. But there was one.
Yeah.
Was it something show? Showcase.
Yeah. Show something. You're right.
Showcase models. So you can find one of those. You'll probably have to pay a bit of money for them though, because they're out of production.
That's right.
Yeah, but there's going to be a Bushmaster coming out in 72nd scale soon, and that's from Dragon.
That's right. Yeah. So very good. Well, and with this one, I think it's time to call the week.
Yep.
And I guess we already know that we're gonna be here again from home, 8 p.m. next week.
Yes.
So same place, same time.
Yep.
So one more week of lockdown for Melbourne. So we'll catch you here again. Throughout the week, as usual, we'll have our video going out every day. So on YouTube, so keep an eye on that. Follow us on social media. We've got quite a lot of stuff arriving, so we're quite interesting. A few new projects.
We're going to have a special guest on next week.
Oh,
and
yes.
potentially, there is a special guest, first of a kind, I guess. New episode.
I don't think it's potential. I think it's locked in. And if he said it's locked in, then it's locked in.
Good stuff.
Okay.
All right, just before we go, let's remind everyone about the competition. So we've got a competition I'm going to extend to tonight, which is railway photo comp. Okay, make sure you get those in before. I guess you got to get them in before I wake up tomorrow morning. And what time that is, I don't know. Right, so you just get them in before then. And then remember, there's a new comp as well. So keep your eyes peeled for the link. Or if you purchase anything over $150 from now to Friday, you'll be able to get one of those kits for free. And I'll have that all posted up shortly too.
And that's the kit. Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Yeah.
That's the little kit. So, so quite a few comments here. So I think quite a few people have probably missed the start. So 8 p.m. next Friday night. So
yes,
we'll if you sign up to our newsletter, you will get a notification on Sunday with a link to register to the next episode. So if you click on, so if you are watching on YouTube, you can set a reminder so you won't miss it. Or I think throughout the week there will be a few posts on social media with the links and all that. Yeah. And ready to go for a special show next week with a guest.
Cool,
fantastic.
It'll be exciting. All right, so everyone, thank you for watching. Have a good weekend, and see you next week.
Thank you for having me.
See you later. Stay safe.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.